Welcome back to Fenralion Gamer. Today we're diving into the darkest Assassin's Creed game ever revealed, Codename Hexe. We're talking about a horror-inspired setting in 16th century Europe, witch trials, demonic symbols, and a rumored female lead that could completely shake up how this franchise works. From what we know so far, Ubisoft isn't just changing the tone, they're building something that feels more like survival horror than stealth action. And with Clint Hocking at the helm, this might be the boldest AC title since the original. If you don't want to miss any of the crazy theories, gameplay clues, or future updates, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a like. We've got new videos every week covering the biggest games out there. Let's get started. If you've played Assassin's Creed before, you probably know what to expect. Climbing towers, stealthy assassinations, maybe some ancient conspiracies. Well, throw all of that out the window. Because Codename Hexe isn't just different, it's something entirely else. Ubisoft is teasing what might be the darkest, most mysterious Assassin's Creed we've ever seen. And yeah, it all started with a 30-second teaser back in 2022. But somehow, that short clip said more than words ever could. So what did we actually see in the trailer? Not much at first glance, just a creepy foggy forest, some dead leaves falling, and a weird twig version of the Assassin's Creed logo spinning above a fire. No characters, no fighting, no flashy music. But if you watched closely, it felt cursed, like there was something ancient watching from the shadows. It didn't just tease a new game, it whispered, "This one's not like the others." And that's the whole point. Codename Hexe is rumored to take place in 16th century Central Europe during the terrifying era of witch hunts under the Holy Roman Empire. We're talking about a time when tens of thousands of people, mostly women, were accused of witchcraft, tortured, and burned alive. So imagine walking through that world, not as a warrior in armor, but as someone hunted, someone hiding in plain sight, maybe even as a witch herself. That alone changes everything. Now here's where it gets even more wild. Ubisoft isn't just dropping this into the timeline as another side project. This is one of their major flagship titles, and it's being developed by Ubisoft Montreal, the original team that started it all. And guess who's leading the project? Clint Hocking, the guy behind Far Cry 2 and Watch Dogs Legion. If you know his work, you know he doesn't just make games, he reinvents them. That tells us Hexe is going to be bold, weird, and full of surprises. And if you were expecting another giant open-world RPG with dialogue trees and XP bars, nah, that's not happening here. Ubisoft confirmed Hexe will not be an RPG. This game is ditching that formula completely. Instead, it's leaning into a more focused, stripped-down style. Think stealth, horror, psych. One of the craziest details comes from that logo in the trailer. It's not just some creepy stick symbol. If you pause the video at just the right moment, you'll see the symbol placed over an inverted pentacle, surrounded by an ancient alphabet called the Alphabet of the Magi. Fans translated it and, well, it gets dark fast. Phrases like, "We work in the night to serve the light," appear around the edges. A classic Assassin's Creed motto, sure, but in the center, the name Mephisto shows up, along with words like avenge and house. So yeah, this game is diving headfirst into occult themes, demonic legends, and straight-up supernatural horror. And it's not just the setting that's intense, it's the vibe. This isn't the kind of Assassin's Creed where you're running across rooftops under a sunny sky. Nah, this feels more like sneaking through torchlit villages while people scream witch from behind doors. It's raw, it's cold, and everything we've heard suggests it's gonna feel like you're constantly being hunted. Not just by enemies, but by the world itself, like the forest, the air, the people. None of them want you there. The atmosphere alone could be the most dangerous thing in the game. And here's something fans can't stop talking about. Who exactly are we going to play as? Ubisoft hasn't revealed the main character, not even a silhouette. But the rumors are loud. The strongest theory right now is that we'll be playing a female lead, possibly someone who's been accused of witchcraft, which honestly makes perfect sense. Imagine playing as someone caught between two deadly roles, the hunted witch and the hidden assassin. That duality opens up so many possibilities for stealth, storytelling, and survival. What really makes this interesting is that Hexe could be more than just a game. It might be a psychological trip. Ubisoft isn't just telling a story about history. They're exploring fear, paranoia, mass hysteria, themes like betrayal, false accusations, and the cruelty of blind belief. That's heavy stuff, and if they do it right, Hexe might not just be remembered as the witchy Assassin's Creed. It could become the most emotionally disturbing one ever made, the kind of game that leaves you thinking long after the credits roll. And the more you think about it, the more it makes sense why Ubisoft is dropping the RPG mechanics here. This isn't about building a character, it's about breaking one. You don't need to unlock new gear or grind quests to feel power here. The power comes from surviving, from making impossible choices in a world where truth means nothing and fear controls everything. Hexe might not give you a sense of control, and that's exactly what makes it terrifying. Logical tension. This isn't about leveling up. This is about staying alive in a world that hates you, fears you, and wants to see you burn. Sound intense? Yeah, it is. Another major clue about the gameplay is the tone Ubisoft is pushing. This isn't a fast-paced action game. It's slow-burn horror. Think less assassin versus Templars and more assassin versus shadowy cults and mobs with torches. Instead of fighting guards in broad daylight, you might be hiding in cellars, sneaking past witch hunters, or escaping from a trial with a crowd screaming for your execution. It's the kind of setup that completely changes how you move, how you think, and how you survive. Every decision could feel like life or death, not because of damage numbers, but because of the sheer fear pulsing through the world. And let's talk about that fear. Ubisoft has said Hexe will feel like a very different type of Assassin's Creed game, and honestly, that might be underselling it. This game looks like it wants to make you uncomfortable, not just with visuals, but with ideas. What happens when you can't tell who to trust, when your enemies aren't just soldiers, but your own neighbors? What if your greatest threat isn't but a whisper? That's the kind of psychological horror they seem to be leaning into. It's more about dread than jump scares. It's about walking through a village and wondering who'll turn on you first. The Animus Hub will also play a role here, and while Ubisoft hasn't gone into full detail, we know Hexe is being built to plug directly into it, just like Assassin's Creed Shadows. That means shared systems, maybe even connections between games down the road. It's not clear yet if the modern-day storyline will be back in a major way, but the fact that Hexe is being treated as a flagship title tells us it's more than just a side story. It's going to be a core part of the Assassin's Creed universe going forward, and that's a big deal. But maybe the wildest part of all this is just how little we actually know. Ubisoft has given us crumbs, and somehow those crumbs have turned into a full-blown storm of speculation. There's no official release date yet, but most insiders believe we're looking at a 2026 or 2027 launch. That gives Ubisoft plenty of time to build hype, and plenty of time for fans to keep decoding that creepy trailer. Every frame of it feels like it's hiding something. Symbols, languages, whispers. This is the kind of game you analyze like a mystery, not just play. So where does that leave us? Honestly, in a really exciting place. Assassin's Creed Codename Hexe isn't just the next entry in the franchise. It's a statement, a warning, a challenge. It's asking you to step into the darkest corner of history, to face something twisted, and to figure out if you're hunter or hunted. And even if you're not usually into horror, even if the idea of witches and demons sounds like a stretch for the AC universe, trust me, this game might just be the bold shakeup the series has needed for years. What's really fascinating is how Hexe might change the way we think about being an assassin. In most games, you're the shadow in the crowd, the blade in the dark. But here, you might be the outcast, the cursed, the one hunted not for what you've done, but for what people believe you are. That flips the entire dynamic. You're no longer just an assassin, hiding from soldiers. You're a marked woman, hiding from the world. Every alley, every forest path, every whispered rumor could be a threat. That's not just stealth gameplay, that's survival under a microscope. And honestly, there's something powerful about that. Assassin's Creed has always been about rebellion, about standing up against systems of control. But Hexe feels more personal. It's not just about fighting empires, it's about fighting fear itself. And maybe that's why it's hitting different already. You're not trying to conquer. You're trying to endure. Trying to stay alive in a world that wants you gone. That kind of emotional weight, that could make this one of the most human stories Ubisoft's ever told. From a visual standpoint, we can expect some of the most haunting imagery in the entire series. Mist-covered forests, decaying villages, flickering candles in empty chapels. This is Gothic horror at its finest. And if Ubisoft nails the sound design, whispers in the dark, creaking wood, distant screams, Hexe could be the most immersive AC experience ever. Not because it's big, but because it gets under your skin. This isn't about spectacle, it's about atmosphere. And honestly, that's way scarier. Of course, until we get another trailer or hopefully actual gameplay, we're still working off theories, leaks, and clever community breakdowns. But sometimes mystery is part of the magic. Ubisoft has managed to create a game that we're obsessed with, even though we barely know anything about it. That says a lot. It tells us that whatever codename Hexe ends up being, it's already done something right. It's made us curious. And curiosity is what brings us to the edge of the flame. And that's everything we know so far about Assassin's Creed Codename Hexe. From eerie symbolism to witch hunt vibes to Ubisoft stepping away from traditional RPG mechanics, this one's shaping up to be one of the most unique and unsettling entries in the series. But what do you think? Are you into this darker direction, or do you prefer that classic AC feel? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your take. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.